All right, welcome back, watch fans. Today we are talking about making money with Patek Philippe and art. We're part of a generational megatrend right now, or I should say we are in the generational megatrend, and we have some incredible opportunities for you to make literally 500%, 1,000% in the next few years. Now, I know it sounds crazy. It sounds, you can say, oh, it's an exaggeration. Oh, it's this, it's that. Well, no, you've seen, look at the old videos. You have seen where we told you about these watches you could have gotten in on less than 12 months ago, less than, a few years ago, that are up. Literally, they're up, 300%, 500% or more, including even this. This is the latest one. By the way, I'm just showing you right here on the screen. This is our latest huge win. Now, again, we're not here to give you investment advice. This is not the investment advice channel. This is not legal or health advice. We're just telling you the reality. But today we're talking about art, how to make money with art. Just like watches, actually art is much, much more bigly, that's right, more bigly and huge than the watch market. I mean, listen, art is like, I don't know, is it a $50 billion? I mean, 100 billion? Nobody really knows the number. Much bigger mega trends with art. Watches generally will have a 10-year trend. They'll have a 10-year cycle. Art could have a 100-year cycle. Okay, this is like literally multi-generational wealth. Because, for example, if you would have bought a Rolex bubble back in the 1980s, okay, Rolex bubble back, that was the hot, blue chip, watch investment, the Rolex bubble back. Does anybody even know what that is anymore? No, the prices are down. I mean, it was the hottest thing. It was kind of like the Nautilus or whatever. It was the hottest thing in the 80s and early 90s. Today, nobody even knows what that is. Whereas with art, you usually have a 100-year cycle, right? You usually have like, I don't know. For example, Caravaggio. You know who Caravaggio is? You Google Caravaggio. So Caravaggio, he was big in the, in the 1600s. Well, when he was still alive, and then he fell out of favor. And he only came back in the, early 1800s? Early 1800s? Basically started coming back in the early 1800s. So it's been a 200-year megatrend. Also, Rembrandt, that's right, Rembrandt fell out of favor after he died in the 1700s. You couldn't give away a Rembrandt. You couldn't give it away. And then it came back in the 1800s, and we've been part of a 200-plus year megatrend. Prices have gone all the way up. Now, let's look. We're going to talk about the art, but we're going to dive into right now. Oh, yeah, this is for Baron von Nuit. Listen, we're doing it early. You know why we're doing it? Because frankly, it's raining right now, and I have to do my laundry. And I have a laundry that's in the dryer right now. Now, I don't know if you have this technology in Europe. In America, we have a technology called the dryer. You throw your clothes into this machine, and it dries the clothes. It's unbelievable, but true. We don't have to hang it outside like like the peasants do in Europe and Asia. We actually throw it into a machine. Now, is it good for the fabrics? No, it's not. It ruins the. But listen, the American way is to disposable. Everything is disposable. It is what it is. Anyway, we're doing a special episode. We're talking about art. That's right. We're talking about art. We're talking about art and culture because this is the #1 culture channel. We have men of culture on this channel. Okay, but to give some context. Okay, so by the way, on the screen we got these grifters that are peddling the Patek 3732 for $32,000, $26,000. By the way, this was already sold. These are sold watches. This is not even available anymore. Okay, this is the Onyx dial gondola. Now, the Colonel, that's right, the Colonel. You're a benefactor. That's right, your benefactor. The Colonel is your benefactor. Offered you this same exact watch for how much? How much could you have gotten it for? Just a few months ago, we were offering this watch for how much? We were offering the watch for, we were offering it for roughly net. You could have gotten it for net about 7,000 net price. Okay, today that net price is now 19,000. Okay, it's going to be 19,000 to take this watch home, which by the way is going to give you the lowest price on the market. That's right, it's going to be the lowest price on the market. Now, just so you know, we're going to give you full disclosure. The watch has a slight hairline crack on the onyx. That's why it's 19,000 and not 30,000. Okay, I'm giving you $10,000 off. And yes, you have a Patek Philippe buckle, yellow gold. You can melt it. That's right, you can melt this. If you want to melt that, scrap it, you're going to get gold. Oh, look at this. It's got a little thing there. Yeah. Look at this. That's a close-up picture. By the way, the strap is not original, but whatever. You get your own strap. You Google that, okay? You Google getting a strap, okay? There's your watch. Okay, beautiful watch. By the way, you see those little dots? These are horrible pictures. It's actually dust. It's dust that entered the dial. We might, I think what we're going to do is, look, what we're going to do is we're going to probably, before we sell it again, we're going to put on a new strap. We're going to make it retail friendly. We're going to clean the dust out. There's your crack. You see that close up? You see their hairline? It's a hairline. You see there's like a little hairline. That is a close up. That hairline, that's the crack. You can't see it unless it's like magnified, basically. So, and by the way, that adds charm to the watch. Okay, that gives it the old money aesthetic. See, again, here's another close up. You can't even see it. In other words, I know where it is now, so now I can kind of look for it, but you cannot see it, basically. Anyway, these little white dots, that all is going to come out. That's all just dust. I think that's why the watch didn't sell. Luckily for me, the watch did not sell, so we could offer it to you now at a higher price, at 3 times the price. That's right. This has increased 500%. By the way, this watch, you could have gotten this for $4,000 5 years ago. That's right. It was these were $4,000 about 5 years ago. 6 years ago, they were $4,000. Now they've gone all the way up. Now let's talk about this. So I've already showed you that you could make, and by the way, look, on this channel, we've given you so many watches that have increased in value. And by the way, we pointed it out to you long before anybody else did, and we told you exactly what the price target was. Did the watches go there? Yes, they did. Patek 3940 doubled in value. I'm telling you, that watch is going to be, I told you, go to $100,000. We did see 6-figure prices already on it. Nobody believed it. I told you that the Ellipse would be 25,000. We're at 25,000 basically. We're basically at 25,000. And don't be fooled by these grifters, these Puerto Rican grifters, Juan and Kino, and this guy who got deported, Maduro. Okay, look at this. So we got sold for sale. Okay, this is what's going on right now. This is what's going on. 3582, just so you know. Why is this not working here? Every watch is such a terrible site. Like, they don't, it's run by Italians. You go figure. Like, they don't know how to do technology. I mean, everything is like kind of backwards. Yeah, it's not their thing. Anyway, look at this. So we're already at 19,000. It's going all the way up, baby, all the way up. That's right, Pravda. This channel is like Pravda. You Google it. We tell you the truth, baby. We tell you the truth. Pravda and Izvestia and Pravda. Okay, 3940 is going all the way up. Now, let's talk about art, because, look, just like I've told you about major mega trends in watches, there's much more money to be made in art. That's right. And guess what? We're here to do some grifting. This is the #1 grifting channel, okay? So we have stuff for sale. That's right. It's not for sale. It's available for purchase, okay? It is available for purchase. And we're not in any hurry, believe it or not, all right? So DM us to secure your investment on any of the items that we're discussing today. So anyway, look, just so you know, we're going to be reoffering that Patek, the Ellipse 3582. All these fine horological watches are going to be available in a few weeks, where the auction is going up. We're going to have the Rolex 9919, aka, you know what that is? This is the ultimate demon repellent. It's a UFO. Okay, it's called a disco volante. Disco volante. Capisco? Disco volante. You know what that means? It means flying saucer, per Italiano. Now look at this. Look at that perfect. By the way, this thing is in this watch. Ignore the ugly strap. This case, the dial, is in the best condition on the market. And we got a fresh service. It was serviced by our good friends at LA Watchworks, who are, you know, Eric Koo. Eric Koo. You Google Eric Koo. He's a half owner in that. So that's like the best vintage Rolex repair service shop in America. Okay, Eric Koo gets his watches serviced there. Okay, so we just got a fresh service, and this watch, how much I think we're gonna have to sell this for 10 G's. 10 G's, and it's worth every penny. And that looks to me like a original Rolex buckle. I can't guarantee. Look, you never know with these things. You never know with these tomato cans. You know, I really don't. You never know with Rolex buckles. I mean, I really don't. I'm not an expert in Rolex buckles, but I can tell you that this watch is in absolutely triple mint condition. Okay, and the prices of this watch are going to go all the way up. How much? I think it's going to double. I don't think it's going to go. I think the 9919 is going to be a $20,000 watch. You got to put it on a nice strap, because that strap is just nasty. It's something like a Juan and Kino would wear when they're going to Calle Ocho to pick up trannies. That's right, Juan and Kino. Now, we got the Asprey Piaget coming up. We got the Patek 3582. Now, let's talk about making money with art. We're talking about, this is the next topic of discussion. How do you make 10 times your money with art? Lawrence Calcagno. That's right. You Google Lawrence Calcagno, okay? This is going to be a very, very, oh, yeah. Yeah, we got to get a new photographer. Yeah, we got low budget photography. Look, we need donations. You got to send money now. You got to send money now. We need donations to get a proper photographer. We got, like, you know, low budget. You know, we got, you know, they come over the border, you know, they sneak over the border. You know, one day they're washing dishes in a Mexican restaurant. Next day they're taking pictures of Pateks. You know, it is what it is. That's right. Here's a fine nuance. See, this guy doesn't even speak English. That's not even his native language. This guy explains it. Peasant steel is for sale. That's right, a peasant steel basic bitch Rolex Submariner with a black dial is for sale. Okay, you can buy it anywhere. However, a gold ellipse is available for purchase. You understand that? You Google that. Available for purchase. You understand that it's an investment. It's available, possibly available for investment. Price on inquiry. Price on application. Excuse me. Price on application. That's the proper way to say this. POA, baby. POA. Speaking of POA, we're getting a massive donation. We got €1. By the way, the euro is going up. So this is big, 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 huge. Hopefully it doesn't go up too much. I really hope it crashes, because, I mean, it's too expensive. You know, it's too expensive. We actually may need to get donations. I mean, it's gone up so much because of El Trump. That's the problem. That's his one failure, is the euro's going up. Anyway, look, let's talk about making big, huge money with art. Now you're saying, who's this tomato can? Who is this tomato can? What is his track record? How do we trust this guy? Is this guy a Bukiak? Is he like a... It is like $5. It's basically $5. So, like, look, yeah, it is $5. Yeah, listen. So you're wondering, who is this Bukiak who's spooking art now? Is this guy going to grift us? Is this guy like the timepiece gentleman? Is he going to, you know, is he running a male massage parlor in Dallas? You know, and what do you call it? Selling hoodies and Lambos? No. So let me show you something. Let me explain to you. I'm going to talk like Juan and Kino in the Boogie Down Bronx. Let me explain you something. I'm going to explain you. Okay, I'm going to explain you what's going on, baby. Okay, so look, the Colonel is not only a war hero from Vietnam. By the way, you know, I don't know. guys, I hate to brag. I hate to brag. Look, I was very busy this weekend. I don't know if you heard about, Maduro. Maduro, that's Juan and Kino's nephew. Maduro, Nicolas Maduro. He was extradited. That's right. He was extracted. He was extracted from his bedroom in his pajamas, him and his wife in their pajamas by the Delta Force. Now, how did the Delta Force get in there? Well, I flew them in. Now, I'm a long-time naval aviator, combat ace. I shot down 63 MiGs in Vietnam. But look, on weekends, Delta Force calls me in. There's something called the Night Stalkers, the Special Aviation Unit, Special Forces, and these guys would fly at night, right? So on weekends, they bring me in for special missions. They call the colonel. And look, when they need to get the job done right, when they need to get Osama bin Laden, peace be upon him, Osama bin Laden, in Bukakistan, who do they call? They call the colonel to land the choppers in there. Who do they call this weekend? That's right, the colonels. I was busy. Okay, I was busy serving our country, and you are welcome for our service. That's right. That's right. Unbelievable, but true. Can you imagine? Look, the only trouble that Trump is having is with these hubcap thieves, Juan and Kino. These guys, every time we deport them, they sneak back in. Every time we send them back to La Isla Cucaracha, they swim back. They row back on the rafts on a giant sardine cans. They make rafts out of Goya bean cans. It's unbelievable. It really is unbelievable. Anyway, look. So here's what's going on. We're talking about art and making big, huge money. Okay, so so let me show you something. Let me explain to you something. Okay, we got the official price data. So look, the colonel has been very active, not just as a naval aviator, but also in the art market. Well, I took a break from it for a while, but this is something I was very active in. I sold, buying and selling, I wouldn't say major paintings, but let's just say I have a long track record in generating alpha. That's right, delivering alpha in undiscovered artists, which later became major mega trends. Now, here we have a painting. Now, you're going to think this is ugly. And by the way, I agree. I think this looks like shit. But it is what it is. This guy actually was a very important artist. This is not his best period or whatever. But you know who loves this stuff? The Iranians. That's right, the Iranians. Now, who has sold more Iranian contemporary art than anybody on the planet between the year 2010 and 2018? The Colonel. That's right. Now, check this out. This watercolor. That's right. This is a work on paper. It's a drawing, actually. Okay, it's a work on paper. You understand that? This is on toilet paper. And this sold for $41,250 just a few months ago. 41 G's. You know where it sold? Look at this. What does this say? Tehran. That's right, Tehran. This sold in Tehran. You know what Tehran is? You Google Tehran. That's the place that's in the news. And now look at the provenance. You know what provenance is? You don't know what provenance is? You Google provenance. Now, who sold it in? Look at this, provenance. 17th Tehran auction. I actually can't believe they have an auction house in Tehran. But anyway, Carlisle Galleries, Carlisle Galleries, July 2018, Beverly Hills, California. Who is Carlisle Galleries of Beverly Hills? Who is that? The Colonel. That's right. Unbelievable, but true. And here we go. Here is the Colonel. We offered this painting. How much did we sell it for? I don't remember. I think it was $9,000. Now, this was a consignment. I actually did not own this. But usually I would be able to buy these for a few thousand. I would sell them for like 10,000. Now, are you saying that I rip off the customer? No, I was selling to like a very, very smart guy. And he knew how much I was paying. He knew I was getting these things for, $2,000 and selling them to him for 12. Now, why? Because those same paintings that he was buying for 12 are now worth 50 to 100,000. And by the way, he got the good stuff. This painting is not really that good. It's a watercolor. It's a very late. It's like 1975. Yeah, this is a late period. It's not his best work. Not his best work. Look at this. Look what we were selling. Look what you could have gotten in 2018 from Carlisle Galleries. Look what you could have gotten from Carlisle Galleries. You could have been making all this money. Valerio Adami, major work of art. John Grillo, all that stuff was sold, okay? We got Latino, art from Latinos. Armando Morales, Luis Zarate. We have Jose Badia Valdez, yep. Cuba. Mauricio Nogueira, Lima. Jesus Rafael Soto, very important. From Venezuela, that's right. Jesus Rafael Soto, that's right. We sold that. And we sold this Frank Sinatra painting. That's right. Literally, this is by Frank Sinatra. Unbelievable but true. Frank Sinatra did this. Old Blue Eyes. You're not going to believe this. You know who this was owned by? Murray Guinness, who was a vice president at Caesars Casino. Look at this. Look at this. Check this out. We sold this painting. This was done by Frank Sinatra. He made this card on the back, and he wrote, "Dear Murray, please forgive the delay in thanking you for the smokes. I've been on summer vacation. I've been enjoying every minute of it. You are at the top of my list of notes to write, and I want to thank you for always thinking of me. You're the best, Murray, and I love you. Thank you for the smokes." I guess, so Murray Guinness was like a guy at Caesars Casino in Vegas in the 70s and 80s. He was basically the guy that you called if you wanted to get, whatever you needed. You're a high roller, you show up, you want, how shall we say, female companionship, you want Cuban cigars, you want whatever you want, okay? Whatever you want. You use your imagination, but this guy would probably get it for you. Anyway, so Frank Sinatra gave him this painting as a gift, okay? And he wrote this note. This is Frank Sinatra's letterhead. Excuse me, that's Frank Sinatra's, what he called his, so this is extremely valuable. Not only is it a Frank Sinatra painting, it's actually like a gift to, like, a friend. By the way, Frank Sinatra paintings sold for $200,000 at Christie's in 2016, which was a gift to Nancy Sinatra. So this is, not quite the same, but pretty good. Anyway, we sold that. Now, Frank Sinatra paintings, the upside is limited. Frank Sinatra paintings, upside limited. So there's our Yektai. We got by the way, we got Salua Rauda Shuker, female Lebanese painting that's available for purchase. We got some homoerotic art that was sold. We got Carlos Bastos from Brazil that was sold. We got this huge painting, which is, by the way, a bargain. We actually still have this. You can get this for $3,000. It's a huge, huge painting. It's 57 by 70 inches. Louis Fabian. I think this is going to be worth 10 grand one day. It's not he's not an important artist. It's decorative, but I think in about 15 years it'll be basically it'll more than keep up with inflation. I just want to get rid of it because it takes up a lot of space. Again, it's 57 by 70 inches. You Google what that is. Anyway, look, what's the point? What is the point? The point is, we're talking about the next big thing. Forget about the past, okay? Forget about what was in the past. Today, we're talking about how do you make money. Okay, so if you would have bought Manucher Yektai, you would have made 10 times your money. You would have made 1,000%. Okay, by the way, so can you imagine this? Imagine this, that Yektai, Manucher Yektai is selling for 40,000. What would you rather have? You want to have a Yektai painting, or you want to have Iranian dollars, whatever they call it, Rial, whatever their shit currency is, which is worthless? No, you want to have the Yektai painting, okay? Now, that's why art is very desirable in an inflationary environment. People are buying assets, cultural assets, and that's what we're focused on. Look, we're part of a generational megatrend right now in cultural assets. We're talking about watches, we're talking about art. Are they related? Kind of. There's opportunities in both of them. That's right. There's opportunities in both. Now let's talk about, let's pull up on the screen. Hang on a second. We're going to pull up on the screen Lawrence Calcagno. Hang on a second. We'll pull it up. Lawrence Calcagno. Share this tab. Okay, so we're talking about Lawrence Calcagno. He's kind of like the Patek Philippe Ellipse, okay? You know, just like the Ellipse went up literally 500,000%, Lawrence Calcagno is going to go up literally 1,000%. Okay, the market's been on the move. You can still pick the stuff up very cheap. Look, we had one that sold at Philips. You know, Philips, those are the guys that sold the Paul Newman watch for 17 million. They sold this painting for 11,000. This is 24 by 20 inches. What year is this? 1983. That's not a desirable period. It's not. Okay, now we have a Lawrence Calcagno painting available for purchase. For how much? $5,000. We're going to make it available. We're going to make this available for $5,000. What's the upside? 25,000. I believe this painting, by the way, it's a small piece. It's only 24 by 18 inches. It has, I think the upside for this is about 25,000 in the next 5 years. So let me tell you about the provenance. This is the back of the painting, signed by Calcagno. Okay, that's how he signed it. June 1962, which, by the way, is the prime period. That is his prime period. Okay. And this was owned by, you know who this was owned by? You guys ever hear of Ford cars, you know, Ford motor cars? You ever hear of General Motors? You heard of that, right? You heard of Ferrari, Lamborghini. Have you heard of Chrysler? Chrysler? Well, Chrysler, the guy who started Chrysler, what's his name? I forgot his name. But anyway, his son that inherited the company, he was a big art collector. He was married to this lady, Jean Outland Chrysler. So, well, actually, she was a beard because this guy was basically a homosexual. That's right, unbelievable, but true. Allegedly, well, most likely. Anyway, so Jean Outland Chrysler, that was his beard, and they set up a museum. That's right, they created a museum. And by the way, so this guy was known for very sassy, flamboyant parties. This guy Chrysler, that's the son of the founder. Anyway, so but he had very good taste. Big collector. His wife, so she owned this painting. That was her painting. She owned this, and she gave this as a gift. She gave it as a gift to the Chrysler Museum. How did we get the painting? We stole the painting. No, actually, it was given as a. You know, they deaccession these things a lot of times. They museums sell off art all the time, so that's how this got there. Maybe it was stolen. I have no idea. Who cares? We have it available for purchase. Excuse me. We got a little label on the back. This is from a museum. I think this was from a gallery show from 1982. Somebody made this little note. So anyway, look, this piece over here, 1962. That's his best period. Okay. That's when he was with Martha Jackson Gallery, which was like an incredible dealer. And look at this. Look at the impasto. You know what impasto is? You Google impasto. Now, you got a little bit, you see the little white inside of the black? That's a little bit of paint flaking, which is what happens to these things. Also, you see the little, there's a little bit, you know, this is an old painting. It's, you know, this is what happens. They get some little bit of craquelure, I think it's called. That's the little white hairlines. Now, you can get that restored. People do that. Generally, collectors like it as is, and we sell it as is. Now, what's very important is this painting. What makes it historically important? Why is this going to be worth $50,000? This painting is from the same period of time that when this Lawrence Calcagno was lovers. That's right, lovers with Buford Delaney. You know who Buford Delaney is? You Google Buford Delaney. Okay, Buford Delaney was an important African American artist. That's right, African American. who is also, what do you call it? Now, what makes him interesting is, now, by the way, the African-American art, okay, as opposed to black, just to be very clear, there's a big difference between black art and African-American, because black can mean anything. It can mean Africa, which is a completely different thing. It could mean, whatever. It could mean Haiti. Complete difference. It's a different movement, okay? So African-American artists of the mid-19th century, let's call it 1920s to 1970s, prices have been going all the way up. It was historically underappreciated, and because Americans are racists, and the prices went all the way up. Okay, now I actually sold a Buford Delaney painting of that period. Okay, early 60s, late 50s, early 60s. It used those exact same colors. By the way, Buford Delaney, how much are the prices? They're all the way up. Let me see. How do we do this? Buford Delaney, how much is this? How much is this stuff going for? Good painting, a good Buford Delaney. Wow, this is interesting. There's some bargains. See, that's the opportunity. There's always bargains. Now, I think some of these are fugazi. This black art auction, I don't know, man. I don't know if it's real. Top price, Buford Delaney, $1,200,000. $1,200,000. Now, interesting. Buford Delaney is a black gentleman. So you want, in other words, if you want a Buford Delaney painting of people, you want black folks. You want black folks. You want to see black folks in those paintings. You don't want to see white people, which is very weird. Now, the Buford Delaney painting I had, it had white folks playing pool. The painting I sold that painting for like 10 G's. That painting today is worth probably 100 grand. That was 10 years ago. No, more than 10 years ago. Oof. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Actually, no, it's probably worth more. It's more than, oh, shit. Okay, so the Buford Delaney painting that I sold for 10 grand. Again, I bought it for like 3. I sold it for 10, like immediately, because that's what you got to do. Anyway, it was of this period. It was the Greenwich Village period. It was a little bit smaller than this. It was smaller. It was about half the size. It was guys playing pool. It's worth 200 grand probably today. Okay. Now, did I know that Buford Delaney was going all the way up? Absolutely. I mean, I didn't think it would go to 500. I thought it would go to 50 grand. I thought it would go to 50 grand. So the point is, you never know how high these things can go. Okay, that's right. You never know how high these things can go. Oh shit! I wasn't showing it. I'm sorry. Hang on a second. Shit, guys, you got to tell me. You got to tell me when. You got to tell me when the screen is not showing up. I'm showing Buford Delaney right here. I'm giving you the comps of Buford Delaney. Okay, so this is Buford Delaney. Okay, the Colonel himself, I was saying, sold a very similar painting of this period. It was 1940s, 50s. These exact same colors, same color palette. It was a pool hall scene. Okay, it was a couple of guys playing pool in some sort of place in the village, I guess. About half the size of this. Half the size. Okay, now you could have gotten that from the Colonel for how much? I would have sold it for 10 G's. And by the way, the 10 grand, the market price for that would have been probably, I don't know, 15,000 at the time. At auction might have been a $15,000 painting, maybe 20 on a good day. But sometimes it's better to get cash in hand because you never know what happens at auction. And also, who did I sell it to? Did I sell to a tomato can? No, I sold it to Buford Delaney's gallery. That's right. He's got his estate, the representative, his big gallery in New York. I'm not going to mention any names. You Google it. But that guy is the guy I sold the painting to. And by the way, I'm very annoyed because when I brought the painting in, then he starts chiseling me. He starts chiseling me. He says, "Oh, well, would you take 8?" I mean, yeah, we agreed to, price. I think it was 10 grand or whatever the price was. And then he starts chiseling me after I said, "No, get the fuck out of here. Take it or leave it." Okay. I mean, like literally, take it or leave it, I'm going to walk out the door. So you got to watch out for these art gallery grifters. I'm not going to mention this gentleman's name, okay? Very nice gentleman, but he tried to take advantage of the colonel. But anyway, that painting today would be $250,000, okay? So what's the point of this? The point is when the colonel tells you that something is going all the way up, it's going all the way up. So when I tell you that Louis Fabian is going all the way up, I'm not saying that. This is going to be worth 10 grand and 10. It's not going to be, this is like, you'll make a couple times. You're going to get above inflation. This is decorative. This is not historically important. However, Lawrence Calcagno, you mark my words, if you are lucky enough to purchase this for $5,000, you'll get $25,000 to $50,000 back on this painting. When? Within 5 years, probably. It's already selling. The comps right now are like 10 grand plus. I don't know, again, if this sold at Phillips or at Bonham's, you would get the big money. Okay, now let's talk about the next, what else we got available for sale? Let's talk about somebody big. We're going to talk about, and I'm going to go because we got something huge. The absolute best opportunity, okay, the absolute best opportunity. We got two huge things, cultural assets. Okay, we got major cultural assets here, which is this. This, by the way, this is actually a woven piece. It's like a carpet. You see the back? That's the back. It's a carpet almost. Okay, and this is going to be worth, in my opinion, this could be worth $250,000 in 10 years. It might take 15 years, just like it did with Buford Delaney. This is going to be worth $250,000 plus. Okay, you can get this now for how much? We're going to make it available for purchase for $25,000. Now, why is this so important? This was done by a female artist. Okay, the females. The females are just like the blacks. Okay, female artists were they got no respect. They got no respect in the 60s. Actually, they never got any respect. Usually, they're not very good, right? Women artists are usually not very good. I'm telling you the truth. Black artists are actually pretty good. There's some really good, like in Africa, there's some amazing contemporary art. Women generally are not that good at, I'm just telling you the truth. But when they're good, they're really, really good. Okay, it's just a thing. You know what I'm saying? It's like you don't see women truck drivers. It's just the way it is. It's a different thing, right? Anyway, Dorothy Grebenak was an incredible artist. She was a pioneer. She was doing this in she was a pop artist. Have you guys heard of Andy Warhol? Andy Warhol, Roy Lichtenstein, those guys, Andy Warhol, pop art. Have you heard of pop art? There was a Claes Oldenburg. I think he was Dutch. I think he was a Dutch man. You had pop art, okay, in 1960s. Pop art is huge. Pop art is still relevant today, taking, everyday objects and elevating to the world of art. It was a major, major historical game changer, okay? Now, Dorothy Grebenak, born 1913. Okay, she was born in 1913. So she was a 50-year-old lady at this time when she did this. She was basically making these kind of like pop art things, but instead of a painting, she did them as a woven rug that would hang on a wall. It's very weird. I don't even know how to explain it. It's very unusual, very, very, she was a real artist. She wasn't doing it for the money. You see this over here? You Google this. This is Dorothy Grebenak, okay? You Google right here. This is her. This is the lady, Dorothy Grebenak, okay? Extremely important. Swedish, Dutch, I don't know. They're all the same to me. I don't know. What difference does it make? Dutch, Swedish, Come on. All right, so Dorothy Grebenak. Where's Dorothy Grebenak? Oh, shit, we lost the image. Look what happened. We lost the image. Extremely. So this is her at work. This is all woven by hand. Do you understand what she's doing? And she's actually making this carpet, which is basically it's a manhole cover. I mean, she was brilliant. She was absolutely brilliant. The problem is, okay, the problem is the art market, frankly, is racist. Okay, the art market did not respect women, black folks, other whatever minorities, right? Today, it's the world has gone woke. The art market, the art museums, cultural institutions, they are super woke now. So now they're playing catch up. So now uh, they're paying top prices for women artists of that period. I mean, imagine this: these women, they were never respected in their lifetime. Today, they're revered as saints. You ever hear of Jesus? You ever hear of Jesus? Jesus from Bethlehem, Jesus of Nazareth. Jesus was like a rabbi in the turn of the millennium, right? He wasn't respected in his lifetime, right? Today, he's got 1 billion followers. Okay, this is what happens. A lot of people are not appreciated in their lifetime. Okay, Dorothy Grebenak is like Jesus of the artwork. So this is the actual carpet. Con Edison. So this is a manhole cover. You know what a manhole cover is? It's a cover. Now Juan and Kino thinks of the manhole as something completely different. Okay, Juan and Kino manhole, not what you think. The manhole is basically like in the street. It's like a piece of metal that covers the ground. You go into that's where the pipes are. Con Edison, that's the New York Electric Company. I mean, this is very clever. It's very witty. It's very witty. So this is her at work. This is her at work. This is another one of her works. It's a phone. It's a phone doll. Look at this. It's a close up of a phone. You kids don't know this, but back in the day, in order to make a phone call, you had to go to this like machine that was attached to the wall. It was like a little machine attached to the wall, and you stuck your finger in. You stuck your finger into one of these holes, and you moved it, and that made the phone call. And you couldn't even send texts through this. You couldn't get images. No, you talked into this thing. Anyway, this was her exhibit. These things hung on walls. You see this? That looks like a Roy Lichtenstein. It's pop art in the 1960s. Okay, you have no idea how revolutionary this was for the 1960s. By the way, this was at the same time that Roy Lichtenstein and Andy Warhol were. You ever hear of Bugatti? You ever hear of Bugatti? What color is your Bugatti? Okay, now let me tell you something. This was done in the early 1960s. Okay, she was so far ahead of her time. Dorothy Grebenak was so far ahead of her time. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. And she was not approved. Now, by the way, who was her gallery? Which is, by the way, very, very important to know. Who was the gallery for Dorothy Grebenak? Alan Stone. You know who Alan Stone is? Alan Stone was a major art dealer representing major artists, including, what's his name? The guy who makes the cakes, Wayne Thiebaud. Wayne Thiebaud. You know who Wayne Thiebaud is? You Google Wayne Thiebaud. Okay. Yeah, Wayne Thiebaud. So anyway, this was from his private collection. This piece that we are selling here, this was owned by Wayne Thiebaud. Now, what is this image? What is this image? Okay, so if you're not from New York, you would not know this. But every taxi cab in New York, they have a little piece of black plastic that's like attached to the car, and it says like it's the license. it's the licensed. They got a license. And back then, in the 1960s, it was called a hack license, a hack license. And this was the image. This is what it looked like. So it's a yellow cab, and the black is basically the thing. It's the the medallion. It's the taxi medallion is what it is. Taxi medallion is what this is. Okay, it's a taxi medallion. And it's woven on carpet. This was exhibited. We got exhibit history. Allen Stone provenance. Okay, Allen Stone provenance. So yeah, this was all done by hand, by the way. This is not like, this is not like some machine that did this. It would take her like a couple of 100 hours. Okay, like legitimately a couple of 100 hours to do this. A couple of 100 hours to make one of these pieces. It's kind of like making a Patek Philippe, except the Patek Philippe is made by a machine, by robots in China, in China. In China, China. Yeah, anyway, look, what's going to happen is this, guys. I'm telling you the prophecy in advance. What's going to happen is she already had some museum shows, but at some point there's going to be a big thing. Like it's going to be probably, what's her name? The Walmart gallery. I'm sorry, the Walmart. Oh, you know, I'm going to sell this to Walton. It's, Walton, Sam Walton, Walmart. His daughter, who inherited all the money, she's got a museum of American art. And, she's a female, by the way. I don't know if you know this, but anyway, I think this would be good for her. This would be good for her to have in the collection, because this is a very important female pop artist. This is, how many female pop artists were there? You could count them on 3 fingers. I don't know of any. This is one, and this is early. Here's the thing you got to understand. The most important thing with art is, when was it made? What is the art historical context? So this thing was made early in the pop art movement. That's what's important. Early. This was done 1963, mid 1960s. I think it was 63, which is, by the way, very early. That's like in the first. That's like the first few. That's like right at the beginning of the pop art movement. If she did this thing in the 1970s, it wouldn't be important, because that's already after the movement already peaked. But if you have a guy who's doing it early, that's important. It's kind of like Impressionism, right? Look, why is Monet, Renoir, all those guys, why do they get the big bucks? And Kees van Dongen, who's Dutch, by the way. Actually, no, Kees van Dongen actually does get big money. Kees van Dongen gets the big bucks. But we're talking about, what are we talking about? What are we talking about? We're talking about making big money with art. I can't believe that painting so facility. Listen, so bottom line is, the Colonel has made a lot of people a lot of money. This is unbelievable. Unbelievable, but true. Who's this guy? Who's this tomato can? Wall Street Auctions? Auction of Wall Street, Miami Beach. Sounds very fugazi. Sounds fugazi. Auction of Wall Street. Sounds like a bunch of fugazis. December Empire of Collectibles. It sounds like a bunch of bukyaks. Yeah, this looks fugazi. This looks very fugazi. I don't trust these guys. Anyway, yeah, this is, yeah. Anyway, Buford Delaney, kind of. Oh yeah, by the way, so Buford Delaney, what made him valuable is, so he was a black guy who was also gay, okay, which is a big plus in the art world, right? It's a big plus. And he was locked up in an insane asylum, okay? So that's the trifecta. He had the trifecta: gay, black, and insane, okay? That's a trifecta. Because the art world loves these kind of crazy stories. Like, you ever hear of Van Gogh? You ever heard of Van Gogh? Van Gogh, he became big because, by the way, Van Gogh and Buford Delaney, very similar type of colors. It's kind of got a similar vibe, no? Oh shit, it's not showing on the screen. Hang on a second. Hang on a second. It's kind of a similar vibe because oh, this is in Paris, 1960s. Paris. Okay, so this is big because that's when he was in Paris. So anyway, look, here's the thing you want. The best, okay, if you want to make big money with art, what you want is you want a gay, black, insane guy who is working in Paris. That's the four things. Those are the best four things. Actually, what will be even better is if he was also half like Chinese or something. If he was half Chinese, well, actually, maybe not because the Chinese are kind of racist, so they wouldn't buy it. But no, okay, you don't want half Chinese. You want the full thing. So anyway, so this is this sold for $1.2 million. And by the way, if the guy cut his ear off, it would be even more valuable. If Buford Delaney would cut his ear off, it would be even more valuable. That's what you want. You want that type of story. You got to have the story. Anyway, look, let's get back to Dorothy Grebenak. Dorothy Grebenak is going to go to the moon. Okay, I don't even know if I want to sell this. I don't know even if I want to sell this. This could be worth. I mean, I know for a fact. I know 100% that this is going to be worth huge money. It's only a question of when does it happen. Sometimes you got to wait a few years. Look, just like with watches, you know, just because we think the Patek Philippe is going to go to the moon, sometimes it could take longer. You know, sometimes it could take. Look, I bought the Ellipse. I bought my Ellipse when my first Ellipse 2017. The thesis was that they were deeply undervalued. Okay, they were $3,000. Okay, look at this. The Patek Ellipse was $3,000 in 2017. Now you got this tomato can. You got this what's his name? This tomato can collectability. That's John Reardon, Mr. Tomato Can. Mr. Tomato Can is ripping you off. That's right. He's ripping you off by selling you this garbage 3545. Why do I say it's garbage? Because it's got the Roman Chomo numerals. The dial is all fugazied up. The dial is all got like it's got like fugaziness on it. It's a piece of shit. I wouldn't touch this watch. I'm surprised he's selling it. It's a disgrace because usually he sells good things which allegedly in good condition. Nah, he doesn't give a shit. He's a grifter. Okay. Now that, by the way, that watch, you do not want that. That's garbage. This watch over here, this watch is garbage. It's trash. Pure trash. If you're going to buy an Ellipse, you want a blue dial, or you want like some. Ooh, look at this. This is crazy. Look at this. 16,000, and it's got a retailer called Just. I never heard of Just. Who's Just? I guess it means used or something. Okay, so let me show you the one you want, 3545. Okay, look how much they're going for. They're going for big money, right? Now you don't want the bracelet. You really want the strap, to be honest with you. Oh, look at this. So this is where, okay, so basically, Mr. Collectability. Mr. Collectability, I think this is the watch. No, that's not his watch. That's somebody else. Maybe it is. Maybe it's very suspicious. Very suspicious. Frankly, I don't trust that guy. You know, he comes across like Mr. Nice Guy. I don't trust that guy. I wouldn't trust that guy further than I can throw him. All right. Basically, if you want the 3545, you want this. This is what you want, like the Colonel. And how much are the prices? Wow, that was a cheap price, $6,000. That's actually cheap. In May, it's going all the way up. They're going for like they're being offered for like 12,000 and up, 15,000. Goldamer. Yeah, this is my watch right here. Except mine is in white gold. You want I think you want this in white gold, frankly. That particular model. Anyway, this is it. Is this white gold? No, it's yellow gold. The point is, sometimes it takes a few years. You gotta have some patience. I actually like Roman numerals if they're good ones. Like if they are like the Rolex, the day date 40, the modern day date 40. The modern day date 40 is amazing Roman numerals. But when they do those the Buckley Roman numerals are for chomos. Do you trade any watches or hold any yourself? Of course. What do you think we're doing here? Everything is here for sale. We're here to sell watches, baby. We're not here to sell. We're here to make them available for purchase. Now, the question you're asking is, what is available? What is going to be available for purchase? Well, here's the thing you got to understand. On this channel, we only hold watches. We only things that we believe will increase in value, like these items over here. That's right, all these items. Rolex 9919, UFO, Patek, Onyx Dial, Gondolo, the King Tut Rolex. That doesn't count, but okay, whatever. Piaget Asprey, all these things. These are like, I mean, this is we actually are what is it? Eating our own cooking. That's right, because this is actually owned inventory of a Dial Market. Have you heard of Dial Market? Dial Market is a wholly owned subsidiary of the Watch Reporter. That's right, unbelievable but true. You know what else we got available coming up? We got Joseph Cornell, by the way. Joseph Cornell. You know who Joseph Cornell is? You ever hear of Twitter? You ever hear of Twitter? Joseph Cornell, very important artist. The Joseph Cornell is going to go all the way up. This is a blue chip. Actually, this is blue chip, legitimately blue chip guy. Major. I mean, for American, actually international. This is a guy from the 1950s. He's doing this. This is it's very creative. Look at this. He foresaw Twitter. Look at this. It's a bird tweeting. It's a speech bubble. They're tweeting. You see what this guy's doing? This guy was in a time machine. Joseph Cornell foresaw Twitter. This is 1964. In 1964, Joseph Cornell knew what would happen. Okay, this piece is going to go all the way to the moon. Listen, that's what I'm saying. That's why I bought this. I thought, shit, somebody, one of these bukyaks has to buy this. Somebody should buy this. If you want to make a nice gift for Elon Musk, okay, if you want to go all the way up with Elon Musk, you want to go to SpaceX, you want to get an allocation of SpaceX IPO shares. Do you want to get an allocation of SpaceX IPO? Because that's going to go all the way up. If you do, you get this painting over here for 25 G's. You give it to Elon Musk, and you're gonna get it. All right, gentlemen, I'm signing off. Why? Because my dryer, I think is done. I think the dryer is done. And yeah, so what did we talk about? We talked about Dorothy Grebenak. We talked about Joseph Cornell. Now, in terms of what's going to deliver alpha. By the way, here's a painting we sold. Henri Make. I think this guy's Dutch. Is that a Dutch name? No, it's French. We sold this. For a very good price. Yeah, I mean, look, you can buy this at Wally Findlay Galleries in Palm Beach. You can go to Palm Beach and buy that, or you can get it from the Colonel at half price. That's right, the Colonel sells it to you at half price. Look what we got here. George de Espagnat. This guy, by the way, here is a deep value artist. George de Espagnat. This is early 1920s. He's actually of the Impressionist period. You got to understand, George de Espagnat is deeply overlooked. He's kind of like the Renoir of the. He's like a poor man's Renoir, because a Renoir like this would be 800,000, $1 million too. A small painting like this. This is 1930s probably. I don't know. It's hard to 19. But this guy, he was painting at the time of Monet. He was painting. He was born 1870, right? He was born 1870. So that means, you know, when Monet and Renoir were at their peak, he was in that milieu. He was part of the milieu. What else we got here? Available for purchase. What do we got? What do we got? We got old masters. We got old masters. We got Andrea del Sarto. Andrea del Sarto. Have you heard of Andrea del Sarto? You ever go to the Uffizi in Firenze, in Florence? The Uffizi? Andrea del Sarto, he did all the paintings over there. He was a major player. He wrote the books. He wrote the books. This is done on panel. This is like 1540. This is done on a wood oak panel. Okay, that's the back of the painting. Okay, you see that? Look at that. Look at the detail. It's no joke. That is no joke. You can have, I mean, literally, you can have for 20 G's. This might be too cheap. I mean, we have to go to like 50,000. This is legitimately a Italian Renaissance. Look at this quality, man. Italian Renaissance. Yeah. Italian Renaissance. We got another D'Espagnat. By the way, this is going to go all the way up. This is going to be a 10 bagger. I think this is going to be, you're going to make 10 times the money with this. So we got Georges D'Espagnat, okay? We got a Mediterranean landscape, Georges D'Espagnat, okay? And you can get this for like under 25 G's. He's basically, let's call it a second-rate impressionist, second tier, right? And for whatever reason, I don't know why, for whatever reason, some of these guys just kind of, they go. He's one of the last guys that hasn't increased. A lot of these second, third-rank guys have already gone all the way up, because, look, if this was a Renoir, okay, Renoir painted this area, he painted the same exact area, it would be $2 million, $5 million. If it was Monet, it would be $7 to $15 million. Okay, we're talking about what's an average of 5 million plus, maybe 10 million, maybe even 10 million plus. If it was a Monet, it would be 10 million plus. These are not the Monet, but if it was a Monet, it would be 10 million plus. But the second rank guys are still cheap. And again, this is early 1900s. This is not a painting done in 1980. Okay, you have to understand. This was painted during, like, you know, the lifetime of the Impressionists. This guy was of that era, 1870. You understand that? You Google it. You Google 1870. When was 1870? 1870. Monet was already painting. You know, you have all these guys, all these Bouquiats already painting. And by the way, similar paintings sold for 42,000 at Christie's London. Yeah, about 10 years ago. I don't know. This guy's market has been kind of soft. Just like the ellipse, this George de Espagnat is the Patek Philippe ellipse. Okay, this guy is the Patek Philippe ellipse of the art world right now. It's classical. It's it's deep value. Like I get it. You may not want to have a hubcap painting on your wall. Okay, you may not want whatever some weird modern art on your wall. Okay, I get it. It's fine. It's cool. This, okay, this you can have with anything. You can have this hanging in if you have like contemporary furniture, if you have traditional, if you have classical, whatever it is. This is, and by the way, you can always change the frame. What a lot of people do, what a lot of people are doing now is a lot of these impressionist paintings, they're putting them into like contemporary frames, like just a clean black or clean gold frame without all this like fancy whatever. Yeah. So this is going all the way up. All right, gentlemen, that's what's going on. We're going to wrap up. The laundry is finished. We'll see you all on the next one. Thank you to our show sponsor. We got major, major donors. We got the Qatar Sovereign Wealth Fund, and we got Baron von Noob with a €1 investment. €1, as he pointed out, is like the equivalent of $5. That's right. And you too, Baron. We'll see you all on the next live stream. When? I don't know when it's going to be. We don't know when.